guys, welcome to the channel. It's Adam at ND72. So today we got my SL55 AMG back in the garage. So this video is going to be a mediumly unfun but very informative video. Well, I think all my videos will be fun. But today we're going to be doing some maintenance. We're not going to be doing no-go fast parts, no nothing like that, but maintenance. And I'm going to keep preaching this to you guys. Maintenance is a big part of having these cars, a big part of any car. If you're going to buy any car with over 100,000 miles and start modifying it, do your maintenance first. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah, it's no fun. But stuff that commonly will break faster when you start adding more power to it. So today is something that is common to break, at least for me. I had two cars break on this, of the m113k platforms. I never had my m112k break of this, but it's just a completely different design. So what we're going to be doing today is something, I won't tell you exactly, it's something that will give vibration in the cabin. It's something that might make a noise. It's something that will affect your boost level. It's something that when it finally breaks, it breaks a lot of crap and will leave you stranded. And it's something that you want to get it done, and it's a mediumly expensive part. But it could break and cause a lot more stuff. So what that is? A crank pulley! Now you might ask, oh, you said you're not going to be adding any performance today. So today, we're just adding a factory crank pulley on the car. Reason why I'm not going to go to like a 180 or a 168 or module like I did on the E55. This car, I didn't want to add a crap load of boost. I want this car to be a basic build. So when I start adding boost, I wanted to do a supercharger pulley. Also, I wanted to do a supercharger pulley because I do not like the clutch style pulleys on these cars. You lose a lot of low-end power. You always got to be worrying about those bearings. And when you start doing a bigger crank pulley, the factory clutch pulley just gets slammed in. So that's what I want to do for my actual boost is crank pulley, or is supercharger pulley. So today we're going to be doing crank pulley. The other reason we are going to go with a factory crank pulley is because you get just the nice non-vibrations. Because some aftermarket pulleys, like on my E55, they delete the harmonic balancer part of it, so you get a little vibration. E55, 100% okay with that car doing that. That has a stacked pulley setup that's got top mount intercoolers. That's running quite a bit of power. This car, I just want it to be a simple daily driver, chillin', go down to South Florida, go down to here, a nice fun car, but we will be adding power soon. So, now back to talking about the crank pulleys. So, this part, I tried to go to used. I contacted a few people, I looked on eBay, but people still want for a used one $300, $400, $500, even on eBay, and I get it. Like me personally, if I have a used one on eBay selling them for $400, I'm going to sell it for like $400. If eBay's selling like broken ones, because literally eBay was selling broken ones for about $380. Okay, but I went to the dealer, and for whatever reason, my dealer, I got the crank pulley and a bolt for $450. They didn't have it in stock, but they're literally going to ship it to my house. So I couldn't beat that deal. So that's why we're going to go with a factory one. And when these parts usually break, they last about 100,000 miles. At 115, it broke on my E55. On this one, I mean, the clock is reading like 190. So if I go brand new, I'm good for 100,000 miles. If I go used, you're still kind of in the same boat of it might go in 30,000, it might go in 80. So we have brand new. But today we're going to show you how to remove it. We're going to replace the bolt. We're going to show you almost all step-by-step to do it. Now, if you have an aftermarket crank pulley, this is literally the exact same steps. There's no really difference unless you're drilling out your crank, like I did with my E55. But if you're just going to do a simple, nothing too crazy, a 178 or a 168 pulley, and you're not running a crap load of boost, what we do today will be everything you need to do for that. Or if you're just out there in YouTube PD land and your SL55 or E55 or CLS55 pulley is going away, then this will be also showing you how to do it. We're also going to show you what a bad one is starting to look like. I'm going to try to take pictures and video of what it looks like when it starts to go bad, if you're not too sure, and that way you can go out to your car and look at it. So it's going to be a pretty informative video. It is going to be a lot of maintenance. We're going to be doing this, then we'll go take it for a pool, because for all we know, maybe my 60 to 130 times will get even better. For all we know, the car might ride even better, but we're not sure. But I will give you a quick overview of what this car has done to it right now. In case you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe and throw a like down. This car right now, for performance and all upgraded parts it has on it, it has needs wings crossover surge tanks. So these have small porting and the crossover, which lower boost, add power. It's got my custom ram air intake. It's got VRP's 92mm Hellcat throttle body and ported billet snout. Let's see, I like the way these snouts look, but you can't even really see them that much. But it's all billet and shiny. It's got, coils, like the upgraded red coils, I like them. It's got a few billet pulleys over here, so I got rid of the plastic ones and new bearings. And then it's got primary cast delete, and that's really it. So it's not a big performance-related car right now, but it does pretty good, and we're trying to replace everything that usually could go bad. Like I replaced these in the last video because that's a plastic pulley. Those go bad. Surge tanks just to lower the boost to keep temps down. Also has a split cooling system. That's my bleeder that is actually hidden. Right over here is the reservoir. But yeah, it's split cooling. So nothing too bad. But if you want to check out my previous videos, we did a lot of maintenance already on this car. Like motor mounts. This bearing blew out on me. Just a lot of like tune-up stuff. A lot of maintenance. Go check my previous videos if you haven't seen them. Alright, before I start removing anything, I kind of want to give you a glimpse of how bad that pulley really is. Let's see. Okay, so you can see, so if you guys don't really know, your crank pulley, the part that goes bad is the outer ring, which is right here. And if you could see down there, I'm going to try to get a good angle. I'll try to just remove more stuff, but let's see. Focus, which I don't think, there you go, hold on. Right there. You see how a chunk is literally coming out of the rubber insulator? So if you look over here, see how you're missing so much of it already. And it's just slowly chunking out because eventually this outer ring will rip off. And when that rips off, it then will start flying. First of all, the belt will fly off. And then crap will just go ring. And then that ring could shoot out and you'll be stranded. So we're going to be removing this pulley right here and replacing the bolt. Which it's not that bad of a job, but kind of sucks. Okay, a few things you're going to need to do this job that are not super common is a 27mm deep socket. Don't really go chrome. I did just because I have it. And then the pulley holder tool. So this is going to go there to hold the crank to help you not spin the motor. There are a few other tools to do with this, but it's just the one I have. That's what I'm going to do. You can order them off eBay. Not too hard to find part. And then also, make sure you have like a long breaker bar or just have a lot of strength. Alright, to start, now I could do this job how it is on the SL, but like on the E55 and stuff, you do have to remove a few things up front just to gain access. So I'm going to gain a little more access so I'm more comfortable. So I'm going to get my tanks over here out, for my airbox and stuff like that. Normally you're also going to have your airbox over here you got to get rid of. And then I'm going to try to remove my fan. It should be pretty simple. It's right over here. There should be a 10 mil and a 10 mil down there, and then this should just wiggle out just so I got more access. But in an SL55, you have plenty of room to get in there. Because as you can see, my socket and all my tools fit right in there. I just want a little bit more room, and this fan shouldn't be that hard to come out. Once you get all the fan bolts out, you're going to want to get the plug out for the fan. And then you have a few hoses right here that are they're for the oil cooler. They're just attached to it, so pop it off. And then you just got to literally wiggle the fan back and forth. You just got to get a good angle on it. I might have to remove a hose, but I don't think so. Helpful tip when you're trying to get the radiator fan out is, if you see down there, there's not like a lot of room, but there's kind of enough room to get it out. So what you're going to get snagged on when you're coming out is going to be right here, which is a transmission cooler line. Let's try to get some. Right there with his tranny cooler line, or over there with radiator. All you need to do is crack this. You shouldn't really have any transmission fluid out. You just want to crack it so then you could swivel this whole end. Once you can do this, you can slide that right out. You won't lose any tranny fluid. Just remember to tighten that bad girl up, and that's a 19. Now you got all this extra room. You probably didn't need it, but just so you have a little bit more room to work with, and you could actually see your crank pulley a lot more broken now. Like, you could see all that crap. Also, what I took off is this top piece, which is a series of 10s, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That way I kind of have a little bit more access. But now we can start putting all of our tools in there. Okay, so now you're ready to set up your crank holder tool. So you're going to put it right in there. And you're going to lock it in someplace. So remember, this pipe is going to be spinning to the left. So you want to be able to brace it on something, either the concrete floor or part of your frame. I usually also add a pipe to it, like right over here. Or if you have a strong friend, he can hold one end of it, but I doubt he's going to be able to hold it. So brace on something like concrete or maybe the side frame of your car. So set that all up now. Also, I leave the belt on. This is just me to kind of help like hold it a little bit better. And then once we crack this bolt out, because it's like 250 foot-pounds, then we'll take the belt off. Okay, so how I have it rigged up, because I didn't want to do any damage to the frame or nothing really like that, I got my pulley holder tool holding it. I got it in such a position where it's actually hitting the floor of my concrete, right there, see? So I just lifted the car up, slid the bar under there, and then lowered it back down. So it really should hold on the concrete. And now we get our other tools ready. Okay, now to break this loose, this is a setup I'm going to use. I have a 27mm, a small little extension, and I'm not using a ratcheting, I'm using a breaker bar. Also, just because I'm not the strongest guy in the world, I have like a little pipe, which is from my jack. I'm going to extend it to try to break it loose. Now, try not to use cheap tools when you do this. Try not to use a ratcheting wrench when you do this, or a ratchet, just because I've broken off over here more than once pulling off these crank pulleys, because they get put on at, I think it's 250 foot-pounds, and then 90, like a 90-degree turn, and over the years, they just get in there so effing hard. So we're going to take it slow. I'm going to be putting a lot of force on this, so be careful when you do this. Please be very careful when you do this. Maybe do it with a buddy so he can push and you can pull that way, because when this goes, sometimes you go flying forward or you break your tool and you go flying forward or backwards. Just please be careful. But I'm going to film the whole time I'm doing it, so if I get hurt or die, it'll be on video. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Also, what I'm a little concerned about, I'm probably going to get a towel over here in case this goes down. I don't want to damage my car. Perfect. A nice little mat to kind of cushion it. Now, where did I just put my tools? Alright, you guys ready? Let's try to do this. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Alright, we got everything locked in. Let's try it. Oh, okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Oh, this is definitely one of the easiest ones I've ever done. Or I'm just getting a lot stronger. Alright, so you just got to keep working it until the bolt's loose. This one I don't think was torqued on properly, because I shouldn't be able to do it with just my hand like that. I really shouldn't. And it just gave way. Usually these are hard as hell. Hard as heck. Apologize for my language. Now I can put my little gun in there and I should be able to whiz it off. Alright. So it's definitely loose. Now, before we pull anything off, we gotta take our belts off or it's gonna screw something up. So we'll take our belts off. They're pretty easy. They're a few 17s. I'm sure everyone who's been here knows how to take a belt off. If you don't, I'll show you. For these cars, you're going to start with basically a 17-inch wrench for the supercharger portion. Right here, pull up, remove. Now, same thing, 17 on the bottom one, easy. Alright, now we got all the bolts off. I'm going to take my gun and actually pull that bolt off. That we got all the belts off. There's your big old bolt that was holding it in. These are now trash. I did order a new one. And now we're hoping this pulley will just slide right off, but get rid of your belts, get everything out of the way so you have a lot of access. Alright, here's our fantastic little pulley down there. Every once in a while you get lucky that you can pull it off by hand. I've never once been lucky like that. So usually it's got to do a series of pry bars. Just try to like Remember, this pulley's trashed, so you could grab it by the ribs, just pry it evenly and try to pull it off. If I can't get this one, I'm going to show you a puller I built and rig it up on there. And I also sprayed a little bit of penetrator oil in there just to kind of help it out. But we're going to try it first with the pry bars. Okay, before I start doing anything, I want to show you what a pry bar, one way to test if these are bad. So you could look, right? Let's see if I could get it good on there. Oh yeah, I could see it here in human form. Let's see if I could do it and then show you on video. Alright, so let me rig up the camera better. Okay, so look at the two rings. See how you have one ring over here and one ring over here? Look at them, how I could almost separate them. You see that? So that means at one point this was going to rip right the F off. You shouldn't be able to wiggle it that easily. Okay, I'm going to show you how I have the puller set up. If you want to save your pulley, do not do it like this. So I'm just being convenient and easy since this pulley's already destroyed. I'm grabbing it by the back ring and pulling it forward. The proper way is to grab it from the way back, kind of by the block, and pull it forward so you don't damage anything, but this pulley's already trashed, and it was just literally the puller I grabbed out of my toolbox. So as you see, I got it by the actual rings, and then I got my 17 and I'm taking it out slowly. See, that's the other good thing about getting the fan out of the way. You have all this room. Can you do it with pry bars, all that stuff? Yeah, but I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, so I'm going to try to pull it out so you can see it coming. I'm not doing too much pulling with this. I don't know if you could tell. Trying to get a different angle so you can actually see it moving. Because it is coming slowly, but it is coming right effing out. I'll just keep going with this bad girl until I bottom out with this and I have to reset up. Nope. All right. So that pulled right off. Let's see if that just... Let's see what happened. All right, so we just had to reposition because as you can see, I kind of chunked it off there, but you could just see the huge gap behind there now. Like, I can show my whole finger. So it's almost out. We just got to watch out for the radiator, but we almost got it. So you just got to keep working on it, and it will pull it out. All right, so we got this bad girl out. You could see how it was literally just starting to break. This might have lasted another few months or whatever. Not too sure. But also, I don't even know if this was like the original one because there's markings right there. Kind of like you would get like if you bought a used one. I don't know, but it's definitely a Mercedes logo. But no problem. I'll just order a new one. But look what I got over here. Bam! The new one already came in. That's some parts for my SLK. But this one should be brand new from Mercedes. Mercedes of Florida, or whatever it is. And some goodies in here. So we got a brand new crank pulley. A brand new crank bolt, literally right from the dealer. And they threw in a little bag, I guess for, you know, some sort of branding or whatever, but yeah, this is literally from the dealership. They sent it over, so everything should be right. The bolt looks to be the same. We'll open this box. Should be the same crank pulley. So as you can see with the brand new one, like this seal is completely good. No wearing, no nothing like that. I do see one small difference, which it just really is what it is. If you look at these timing marks, you could actually see them pretty easily. On this one, you can't, but that really shouldn't matter. They put a mark at top dead center there for you. But the pulleys look exactly the same. This might just be the brand new style for whatever reason. They might have changed it up a little bit on the insides, but it should bolt right up. Everything looks to be the same. But now we won't have no more vibration, no more damaging, no more pulley like wobbling, because you can literally see, like, look over here. This thing is all cracked all over. And this one's brand new. So we'll throw everything in there. Should be pretty straightforward. So one thing we will be doing, I will be just cleaning up all around there. I wasn't having any leak from my front seal, but if you do, this is a perfect time to do it. But we're going to do that and put a little bit of lube on that pulley. And then these should, as you're pushing them in, you just kind of got to push it in. And usually I take a rubber mallet and just tap, tap, tap. And then you get it in as much as you could. Do not take like an actual mallet, like a steel or anything like that. Just do a rubber one, and then the bolt will pull it in. Okay, so we got the new one on there. One trick I do recommend is there's a keyway in there. If you can see, it would go into right here. So you need to line up the keyway. So as you're wiggling it in, just be careful. And once you feel it locked in, I tap it in with my little rubber mallet. And then all I did is I took the old bolt, put in the hole, and I took my small impact gun on one, and I whizzed it in there. just to help sink the pulley in there, and then you make sure it's locked in there. Now you do the whole torquing procedure where you need to get 250 foot-pounds on that, and then 90 degrees, which does suck, but brace it up the same way you did to take it out, and then just go at it. So I don't know if you can see, here's new versus old, and they're actually stamped differently. They're both AMG bolts, both the same ones. This might be just the newer style, the stronger one, because it's rated higher. This at 10.9, but we're going to throw the new one in that literally Mercedes sent in for m113k motor. Okay, so I got my handy-dandy torque wrench. Now, I accidentally said 250. This is 148, so 150 foot-pounds, and then 90 degrees. So as you can see, this is how I kind of have it braced up. I put the car up a little bit. I just got my holder and a pipe that's on the concrete, and then I'm just going to literally go, click, click, click. Once it clicks, then you go 90 degrees. One thing I recommend when you do 90s, it's kind of hard to keep track unless you have a really high-tech torque wrench. Do it in, like, increments of, like, okay, so everyone knows 90 degrees is this. Okay, so do like increments if you don't have enough room, so get it pretty close. And if you're too concerned about getting the 90 and you're a little bit scared, so look at my right there. On my wrench, or my socket extension, I put a yellow line with some paint. Now when that gets to over here, 90 degrees, then I know I'm good. So I'm just going to start cranking. As long as you don't take anything off, you're good. But since you have a ratcheting torque wrench, it should be pretty easy. Oh, other thing. Use a breaker bar to do the 90. Don't use a torque wrench. I was being stupid. So as you can see, I basically got mine spun all the way around. So now we're going to undo my whole contraption and literally put everything back. So I don't recommend you put the fan. Just put your belt and everything else on so you can fire up and run it and verify if anything stupid's happening. Like if you're peeing out oil or it's wobbling. Okay, so we got the belts all in, but I'm going to get the camera rigged up. We're going to do the first fire up, and that way we can see if anything goes stupid. Alright, so we got it all on. I got no fan, so I can't run for too long, but it's looking perfect. Nothing really is shifting, no belts are being flying off like it's misalignment. That pulley is barely even moving. Like no jumping, no wobble, so it's the whole motor and everything just seems smoother. I definitely think this is probably contributing to my vibration, but pretty nice. So we're gonna let it run for maybe only 3 minutes to 4 minutes just to like kind of get it heated up, and then we'll put everything back over here. Then we'll let it run for longer before we actually take it out. All right, everything's running for about 15 minutes. Pulley's looking pretty good down there, no bouncing, no nothing. We'll give it a good little rev, see if the belts kind of fly off or anything, then we're gonna drop it down and actually take it on the road. Alright, we're in the car driving around and it feels so much effing smoother. I don't know if that's just me in my head, but it does feel way like smoother just driving and just like stopped at a stoplight. So we'll do like one small pull. I'm going to put a lot of miles on it. Well, maybe not a lot, but a medium amount. Then we'll pull over and check everything out. Alright, so we did a few pulls. Let's check everything out. Ugh. Too bright. It's looking pretty good down there. I don't know if it's too dark for you to see, but not bad at all. So we got the crank pulley in. We did like 5 or 6 pretty hard test hits also. I drove it around, we went to Publix, went to the store, a couple things, and she's running great. I don't really see anything wrong, so I'm super happy I did that. Now I'm gonna say a few things. A couple of you might ask why. Let me shut the car off first. So you might ask, Adam, why did you go back to factory? So with this car, I don't want to be running a stack pulley system. I don't want to do a lot of boost. I didn't want to do any of that. So that's why I kept it factory crank. And because I wanted the more, how do I say, reliability and the smoothness of the engine with a factory crank. And when I start upping the boost, I'm going to change out the supercharger pulley. That way I can actually hear it more, because the bearing on those fail a lot more than the harmonic like bouncer part of the crank pulley. So that's why I went with that. And if you want to know what it costs, I got it from Mercedes dealership. It was under $500 shipped with a bolt. So it wasn't cheap, But everyone, and even on eBay they're asking $400 for a used one with like 100,000 miles. So factory, 100% I will go with factory, because on my E55 it went out at like 120. This one at like 180-ish. I don't know if it was changed before. So if I went with a used one, I might only get like 10,000 miles out of it, or 20,000 miles, or get lucky with 30. But this one I should be guaranteed with at least 100,000 miles on it. So I shouldn't ever really have to get another one for a long time. So that's why I went and did it. And this job, super easy. You need kind of basic hand tools, except for that one tool that is the specialty crank pulley holder. And there's a few other tools that do the same thing. And then you just need to torque it. So make sure you torque it at 150, or basically 148 foot-pounds, and then do the 90. Besides that, this job is super effing easy on an SL55. And it's the same on all of them. So I'm really happy with this fix and all that stuff. But if you guys want more of the M113k stuff, or M112k stuff, more repair stuff, throw suggestions in the box, throw a like down, throw subscribe. Let's try to build this channel, and I'll catch you guys later. Picture time. What? You're the demons.